Assalamu alaikum, my good students. Hope you are well, very well. I'm also very well. And I hope, Assalamu alaikum, my good students. Hope you are well. I'm sorry that I could not make any video from the last many months because I'm too busy. On one side, I'm teaching in a foreign university. On the other side, I have a postdoctoral program which I'm doing it abroad. So now I received a lot of emails and a lot of comments on Applied Linguistics group on the Facebook, YouTube channel. Somebody was also commenting on, he made comments on my Twitter account. And also one of the student, he was calling me from Pakistan. I think there are, because I'm not in Pakistan, from the last 25 years, I have never been to Pakistan. It's actually because I'm busy in jobs abroad. First, I was busy in my PhD abroad, and I was in job, and now in postdoctoral fellowship. So, one of the students called me from Pakistan. He told me that there are BS exams in Pakistan. Actually, I don't think note making assignment should be in BA, but most of the students they want to the graduation students who are undergraduates, they actually want this assignment because they have to make notes or they have to note. Or somebody told them that this is important for exam. Okay, so today our assignment for BS English is note making. First, we have to discuss what is note making. Note making involves creating notes where students combine information from multiple sources into their own words in effort to see relationships and connections between ideas. These notes help students understand and remember information. Actually, once I visited Pakistan school in Jeddah, I came to know that grade 4, 5 students were making notes in the class. And when I was teaching in Saudi universities, I, I, I saw first year students were making notes. But really, all around the world, students they know it. Most of the schools they tell them how to make notes. But one has to know that how to make effective notes. There are methods to make good notes. When you are having a lecture, your teacher is teaching in the class, you must see the methods how to make good notes. That's why you can get most of your knowledge of education through those notes. It is essential elevated to make notes. It also has all the same qualities of good note taking. If a student is recording key points, okay, students they use them in their own words. These notes are clear, they are concise, and these notes are reviewed, peer reviewed, or they are reviewed, and they are revised regularly by students. So then they can be called good notes. I think this is the best and most often used definition of note making, which I told you. However, depending on the person or uh, sources, I think students' intended meaning of keynotes uh, can vary widely. Acha, let's go over some of the different uses of these notes, then you can understand. First, I would like to discuss why are notes very important. I mean, why is note making is important? Note making or good note taking is important because students help to understand and remember information. Okay, it also makes it easier to plan for assignments and study. Note making clarifies information and teaches students how to organize and summarize information effectively. We usually, when we teach, we tell the student these benefits of the notes. Since note making consists of seeing the relationships and connections, it can also improve problem solving and decision making skills, and also help you to be creative and think of new ideas. Okay, you can go and find new ideas, but we have to see these advantages of note making because they are important. There may be many benefits to note making, but there are also some drawbacks. I'm not going to discuss drawbacks because they are fewer and that's not very important. Actually, when you're taking it as an assignment, we have to see what are the basically note making advantages. A note making is skill that improves by practicing. If you have good practice, you can make good notes. There are some advantages of note making. Let's go to know some of them. Yes, that's why usually I tell my students that if they are going to make good notes, they must do in every lecture. They have a notebook. Probably I prefer Cornell notes because this is the one of the best method of the world. It's an American method, one of the best methods of the world to make notes. So it has great importance in exams or in academic writing to make notes. It is an organization of main points of future use. Okay, note making also helps in keeping the information handy whenever we require. It helps in recollecting and recalling the past events said or heard. Uh, it condenses the complete set of data into reasonable size. It facilitates rapid revision during exam time. Usually we tell our students these things. It has essential points that make it more readable. It helps in concentrating, understanding, and provides a permanent record that you have. For example, when I was a student, some of the material I lost, but still I have the notes which I was making in Government Ramdas and Islamia College, Multan. Then I was making notes when I was working in Bahauddin Zikri University, Multan. When I was working in one of the Vice Chancellor's office, Registrar's office, uh, I was taking notes, okay? And that helps me to make and to write a letter, to make a summary, or to go for further clarification, to writing minutes of a meeting or whatever it was. It helps to understand material if the notes are in their own words. I was using then my own words. Then, because when I passed graduation from Bahauddin Zikri University, Multan, luckily I had a very good professor who was the chairman department of English, and I was in connection with him while working in Bahauddin Zikri University, Multan. And actually, he was telling me how to first make notes and then make summaries, and then you can prepare the assignment. So this way, when he was teaching us essay, I think once we went and he gave us a lot of guidance. He's not alive now, Dr. I.R. Siddiqui. He was a very good and pious person. And once we went to his house and he told us that making notes is the quality of a student. Once you make the notes, then you make a summary or you can make the main assignment. For essay, he told us go introduction, main body, conclusion. First, create the notes for these three parts. Then you start writing your essay. That was very important for us. The first formation after learning grammar, after having some knowledge of the language for written English. That's why for writing, note making is very important. It distinguishes between main points and details, require active listening. You must be listening, you must be active listener because you are going to have a lecture of your teacher, university teacher, college teacher. Uh, these notes help you learn and also helps you remember information. Make these notes make study easier for you. I think take these notes as personalized, and these notes also teach you how to summarize. That's very important. There are different formats. I will discuss one by one and for note making. The format for note, you should be very careful. Cornell notes format on one side, you have the main points, then you have the sub-point details. That's the format of Cornell notes, for example, because they're one of the renowned notes in the world. That's why American education is a high quality education because a lot of research, the AI, artificial intelligence is also now you see how much they are working and for translations and other things in our field of linguistics. The computational linguistics is very important. The world is changing, robotic technology and other things. So we're talking about note making format. The format for note making is very similar to format for note taking. Making and taking, the format will be the same. But the big decision, you see, I think the big distinction is that you connect and build on ideas. Okay, notes can be made on paper by hand. You have iPad, you have laptop. Now the students have money, they can buy it. Sticky notes you can use in Word, you can use OneNote. Many note-taking applications allow you to write on PDFs and make it easier to organize your notes. There are many applications. You can use the applications also to save your time. So we have to see what are the steps that, in my opinion, the students should take these steps for note making. I consider there are a lot of steps, but the format of note making values three main steps. Number one, you should not copy and paste. Rephrase your original ideas. That's one of the main thing of the notes. Okay, find relationships and connect ideas. Then build on ideas by containing to review and add to them. That's one of the important third point which I told you. Note making actually occurs in three stages: before, during, and after the lecture. Before lecture, what is in your mind, you have to think and you write some note. This will help you to ask questions at the end of the lecture to your university teacher. Okay, and during you can write the notes what the teacher is saying, your important points you can note. And after the lecture, for questions, it's important you have before and during material, and that's why you have now some questions in your mind. Okay, you review the first material to get a broad overview. Then you make your notes with your preferred method. And then after you review and revise them. Revision is also necessary because I think I would prefer you revise than a peer review. But that would help you. What is the important features of note making? This is what I'm telling you because the meaning is that it is meant to be organized. Number one. Number two, follow a logical order, structure. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, ABC, I1, I2, I3, using abbreviations, okay? And that's one of them. Don't write the sentences. Sentences are not notes, okay? Notes mean you have to write points and also use abbreviations. Make them clear, concise, personalize, okay? Review, if it is they are reviewed, they are the good notes, okay? Note making examples, you can see many other students will have. A good student can give you, take the copy of good student, how he made some notes. Some consider summaries or mind mapping. These are the examples. The best example of note making and easiest format to use. Okay, many types of note making are the traditional and note taking methods, such as outlining, the Cornell method, which I told you one of the best methods in the world. I personally strongly believe this American method is a very nice method. Timelines and questions and answers. Okay, that's different types of things. Some formats are mostly used to refer to making note. For example, not only Cornell note, there are different formats. Digital gardening is one of them, like your own wiki page where you know your where notes and ideas are posted and linked together. That helps you to make notes quickly. Okay, a Zettelkasting, there is a Zettelkasting method where small amounts of information are written on cards and linked to each other by heading, tags, or numbers. Okay, that's why some people like Zettelkasten. Okay, so note, since the term note making can have so many different meanings and often means good note taking, which all students should strive for anyway. For all other posts, I only use the term note making or note taking, sorry, not note making. Note taking, when you are in the lecture, you take the notes, note making, when you revise them and you make them very good. So see the difference. And now I will also discuss the style of note making. Suppose you are in the class and teacher is teaching a very important concept. It is difficult for us to remember everything taught in the class in the same order. Okay. Also, in our extensive, I think daily lives, it is not possible to memorize everything, but extensive reading is very important. I'm not talking about intensive reading. I'm talking about extensive reading is currently the buzzword in every discipline of study on research or research. The buzzword in every discipline, I think discipline of study or research is very important information of varying scope. You have varying scope while reading. I told you during reading, while reading, after reading. Okay, reading at 3 stages. I'm not talking while reading. It is often because when you read also you can also write notes. It is often difficult to retain all. I think retain all of the essential aspects of piece of article. For example, one student is looking at a research article. He cannot keep all the particles of that article. He has to go what he has read and important points only. Notes mean important points. Okay. So to overcome these difficulties, one notes down important details. These notes help us in time of need. Okay. The noting down of useful concepts and points is the basis of what one says note making. In I think here we will study note making and note taking and note making and note making format. Our knowledge is broad and limitless, but our memory capacity is restricted. Whether it's short memory or it's long memory, it's medium memory, we cannot recall everything all of the time. You try to understand. As a result, note making is essential. Okay, because everybody's mind is not of the same capacity. Somebody has very good mind and they can go for a long memory, they can retain, somebody can retain in short memory after some time they forget. That's why notes is the best thing where you have memory problem. Notes you can, for long memory, you can save your notes. Okay. The purpose of note taking is to filter key information and help us remember it. Whatever you are listening or you are reading, what lecture you are in, note making. That's why making notes is more than just writing down what you read and hear. It is also a process of synthesizing and revising concepts for lectures or reading. Okay, students prepare for the exam. So students prepare for the assignments. Students prepare for the quizzes. So two means one is lecture, other is reading. So note making is a way of recording important details from an oral discussion or while reading a book. In note making, the writer records the essence of information. It helps us to understand and clarify thinking. That's why important. Note making saves a lot of time by going through the notes made. One can get a glimpse of a lot of information from a short time. The short note, which is made from a short time of a lecture of half an hour, 40 minutes. Okay, now, because I was discussing note making format, there is a fixed note making format. One needs to follow this note making format in order to have a clear and ambiguous understanding of it. I mean, clear understanding of it. The note making format has what should it have? Number one, heading. I told you, corner notes. On the left portion, you have, okay, main headings. It shows title of the heading of the notes, okay, and whatever the passage you are reading, this is the first section of your note, okay, and it must express the passage's main theme. The header represents the passage's principal idea. We go to subheading. Okay, some people make on the column on the left side main heading and subheading there. Main heading one and then subheading in A, B, C, D like this. As the name suggests, a subheading is a subdivision of the main topic. Okay, subheading is essentially components of paragraph that contains crucial information that must be divided into points and subpoints. Subheadings describe how the main topic of passage was developed. Okay, one case use as many subheadings as he or she, the student, they want. This is my personal experience. Point. Now, after heading, subheading, now come to point. So, heading, subheading, on coronal note on the left, then you come on the second column. That is actually for points. You can say, you can write the points, do not write sentences. I told you below subheading, there are some points that are part of the main one, subheadings. One can add more headings below the points for showing the categories, type, and advantages, etc. For example, I1, you can write, then you can give bullets after I1, 7 points, give bullets of 2 points, give dots, arrows you can use, no problem. So below the point for showing the category, type, or advantages, etc. Many things are there. Key or keywords. This is the second one. The key portion of the note shows that various codes, symbols, or abbreviations used. It helps to get a clear understanding of the keys used in note-making format. The abbreviation and symbols are already, I just gave you an idea in the beginning of my lecture. While taking notes, it is usual and acceptable to use abbreviations to reduce large terms. However, use abbreviated forms sparingly and include a key at the conclusion. That's very important of your message that lists all of the full forms. Common symbols you can use such as, and, at, hash, percentage, and so on. They are also permitted to do, okay? So they are applied for word precision and economy and are hence very useful in note making. So now I come to main process in note making. Two main processes I want to discuss. Number one, storing. We frequently oblige to save information for future use. This information can be useful in a variety of situations. Information storage is necessary since we cannot be expected to recall everything we learn by reading, speaking, or listening. Also, some information we may not be required right now at the same point in the future. So I'm sorry, I'm just directly coming from the mom. Today I'm very tired. It's a weekend. I had urgent work to go and get from some computer market. I go to another city and I came back. So that's why I'm now tired, and I'm sorry for that. Okay, now the second one is retrieval. Uh, I think you have to see storing anything is meaningless if we can't get it to when we need it. You try to understand, especially before the exam, before the quiz, you must need it. There's no point in taking notes if we don't use the information we save later. Okay? So as a result, the material should be organized properly and notes should be jotted down carelessly. Okay, that's one of the things. The procedure of note making is in the process, read the passage provided first. Okay? Underline the important sentences. It helps to make headings and subheadings. Make a rough note first so as to get an idea. When you're reading a research paper for writing notes or something like that, because it is for researchers, they are making a new research and they want to make notes. Some people are using EndNote and Mendeley softwares for that, but they do not provide such information. I'm telling you, uh, students, they can do it for the quizzes or for the exam. Make a rough note first as to get an idea, organize them in logical order or sequence for the final note. Use appropriate note-making format. Do not change the idea or message of the passage or of the research paper two, three paragraphs you are reading together. Okay, most of the people they want to make notes for literature review. So that's why you have to go and see who are going to make for citation references and for ideas, past, what people they said, present, what the people are saying, and future, what the future prediction about people, different types of ideas in note making. I cannot say because people make notes in the physics classes, in English classes, linguistics classes, science classes, health sciences also. This is also one of the best quality. So point to remember for note making format, as I'm now continuing, avoiding using long sentences as heading or title. I've already told you, please do not write sentences. If you write long sentences, they are not notes. You are supposed to write notes. For example, if I write reading, I just write RNDG only. Why? Because I cannot write if I start writing a long word, if I have to write government, I write GOVT. I don't write full one. Okay. So never lose the main idea of the passage. Ignore information that is less important. Be brief, clear, and specific. What information you need, just take that information. Do not go for extra information that is useless for you. Use logic sequencing. That is also necessary. Do not go notes of the conclusion first and go note of the introduction. No. Introduction notes should be first and then main body notes and then conclusion notes. Okay. It is vital to give each note a meaningful title and to maintain proper identification. For example, if you're writing a research paper, you need the notes of a research paper. First, give the introduction title, the 2, 3, 5, 4, 5 notes. Then you go to give a abstract. Also, you can make notes, and then you literature review, and also divide past literature review, present, and future like this way, and then gap. One of the title should be gap. Where you find the gap? But the most important instances should be provided. Okay, the presentation of this writing skill is critical. Whether it's a research writing, it's a simple writing, you're making notes, preparing assignments for your science subjects or for your English, linguistics, whatever subject it is, leave no spaces to avoid confusion. Okay, do not include your own version and understandings. At least 4 abbreviations must be included in your notes if they are short notes. In long notes, you can make more. For example, if you are making note for a research paper, you want to review background of the research history. That's why you make them. You must know many abbreviations. There's a list of abbreviations. You must take it. Okay. Make your note more memorable by adding colors, drawings, and symbols if you have time. Problem is that the researchers they don't have time. If the students they have time, they can make it. Especially girl students that do it because they make the notes very beautiful. Using abbreviation and symbols in note making, I think this is very important point. Using abbreviation and symbol when taking notes saves time and space. There are several techniques to shorten long or intricate words, like there are difficult words and long words. I told you one example, Constantinople. I write CPL, just very short. Government, I told you. Okay. So there are several techniques for these things. Number one, usually the initial of one or more words for using, for example, Prime Minister, I write PM. If I write United States, I write UN. Chief Marketing Officer, CMO. Chief Executive, CEO. Okay. So, Chief Executive Officer, CEO. Using only the initial letters of the word, for example, construction, CONST1 is enough. Okay, the abbreviation you have to use, information info. That's very simple. University recognize abbreviation, for example, opposite, OPP is enough. Okay, removing the walls, for example, reading, as I give you example, R, D, and G. Remove the walls. Books, BKS. Cleaning, CLNG. Shopping, SHPPNG. That's a very simple technique. University recognize symbols, for example, greater, larger. I mean, it's a greater, you go this side. Okay. Less or smaller, you go this side, this type of small arrow. That's university recognized symbol. Falling, you go arrow downside. Okay. Rising, increasing, go arrow upside. That's the technique of the notes, how to write very good notes. So this I'm discussing format. So note making involves a selection, analysis, uh, summarization, and organization of information. There are different types of note making formats. Let us make ourselves familiar with them. How? Number one, split page format, a narrative note making format method. That's one of the very important method, but usually people use Corel notes more. In this method, this page is divided into two columns like Corel notes. The first column had the standard notes. The second column will have a summary. This is most common note making format to note down lecture notes. Diagram pattern format, a visual note making format method. Second, number two, diagram, we call it pattern format, a visual note making format method. Okay. So in this method, the information is presented by a diagram. The main topic is linked together by related ideas. This method is visually more appealing and easy to understand. The third method is mind map, a visual note making method. It's very famous method of mind mapping, but it depends on who is interested in it, because you have to make something. In this method, the main points and all the related points are presented through a map. It's somewhat difficult, but it's some girls, they like to do drawing of maps. It contains text, okay, and images both. For a clear understanding, the information is linked in the proper sequence. So then outline format, that is a visual note making format method. Okay, it's very easy method. In this method, the information is presented as an outline. Proper titles and subtitles are numbered according to this outline. For essay, we make this type of outline with number one, introduction, 1 2 point, number two, main body, 7 points. We divide the main body with sub points, and then last point, number three, is conclusion. So that's outline is very good. Essay outline is made on this type of format. Question and prompt format. This is a visual note making format method. That's another method. In this method, the main points are highlighted as a series of questions and appropriate answers. It helps in revising the note in an easy way. You use it in the essays, use it in the research writing. Solved examples for you, they can also be very important. A person really, for example, the problem is a person really want to remember the information the speaker is providing. What should he need to do? So listen for non-verbal clues. That's the example. Listen for verbal clues. That's the example. Write down the important details, none of them, whatever he can do. So what is the solution? Write down the important details problem. Why is it important to take notes? Help you because we take notes because they help you remember, they improve your concentration level, help you prepare for the test. Okay, so that's one. We have a lot of things. Effective for effective note making, you want to make good notes for your good assignments in writing, for scientific information about your science subjects, for linguistics, for literature. Even in literature, the notes are necessary to take. When our teacher, when I was doing a master in English, one of my professor, when he was teaching me, Professor Anil Ahmed Ansari, during when he was reading drama of William Shakespeare, I was writing notes, highlighting the notes, very important notes. There was a very simple method on the book, but now we use corner notes. Notes are for your personal use. Your teacher will not read or mock them. You need to make sure you can still, okay? Understand your notes months after reading the original book or article. When I was reading, I was getting lectures from my great teacher. I was making notes, so very important points which I understood and took after years. I remember uh, the famous quotes of William Shakespeare, "To be or not to be." Still, that note in my mind. Okay, or when you are away of your country, out of your country, avoid your own countrymen. We said by William Shakespeare in the drama Hamlet. So the notes because I was important quotes, I was important things I was highlighting. So to avoid risk of plagiarism, you must try to use your own word. That's also very important nowadays. Plagiarism, when you plagiarize a thing, you actually finish. Copy and paste is not a quality. It's not just copy phrases from the original. The quantity of notes you make depends on your task. You may only need a point or a lot of detail. Okay. Always record the source of your note. This will save time when you have to write the list of references. Notes are often written quickly, so keep them simple. Do not write sentences. I'm again telling you, don't start writing sentences. They are not notes. Leave out articles from for example, or there, da. These articles you should not write in the note. You're supposed to write short. And some preposition like off to you cannot write with okay from if you write lists, it is important to have clear headings, underline, and a numbering system. For example, ABC or 1, 2, 3 to organize the information. Do not crowd your notes. Okay. I told you use the symbol plus, arrow, equal. Okay. This will save your time. Do not write full sentences, use symbols. Use abbreviations, as I told you, GOVT for government, many abbreviations I've already told you. Okay. But do not abbreviation too much or do not use your own abbreviation because that is actually use international abbreviation. Okay, like as I told you, BA for Bachelor of Arts, that's internationally accepted abbreviations. Okay, you will find notes hard to understand in future if you use your own and you don't know, or international you can understand. Vice Chancellor, you write VC. So as I was telling you, the most important thing is corner note. Now I describe, you must understand the corner note system, also corner note taking system, corner method or corner way. It is note taking system revised, I think in 1950s by Walter Fogg. So he was an education, I think, professor in education at Cornell University. That's what the notes are called Cornell notes. Okay, Polk advocated its use in the best-selling book "How to Study in a College." That still remember, like "How to Become a Master Student" by Dave Harris is one of the book that sold in millions in America and around the world. Same is Cornell University book was written by Polk was sold a lot. So now the Cornell Note method provides a systematic format for condensing and organizing notes. The system of taking notes is designed for use by a high school or a college level students. I told you in Pakistan school, grade 4, I saw grade 5 students were taking notes and they know how to take corner notes. They were using the same format. Now there are printed rough copies in corner notes. You can buy from the market and they're using different corner notes for different subjects. There are several ways of taking notes, but one of the most common is the two column of corner notes style that is very famous. The students divides the paper into two columns. The note-taking column, usually in the right, is twice the size of the question keyword column, which is on the left side. Okay. I think usually the students leave open 5 to 7 lines or about 2 inches, 5 centimeters, what we can say, equal to 2 inches. At the bottom of the page, notes from a lecture or text are written in the note-taking column. Notes usually consist of the main ideas of the text. Okay, and or lecture you are taking lecture you have a lecture of your teacher you take. For longer ideas, when you sit in some seminar or workshops, you can paraphrase them. Okay, long sentences are divided. I told you already. Please do not write full sentences, long sentences, simple abbreviations you can use. Okay, instead okay, and to assist with future reviews, clear questions or keywords which should be recorded as soon as possible so that the lecture and questions will be fresh in a student's mind who or she is taking the notes or making the notes are written in the left hand keyword column. Then these notes can be taken from any source of information such as you're reading a fiction book, you're watching a DVD, CD, you are in the class for lectures, or you're reading textbook, online reading, or you have a paper book, etc. There are many methods. You know them, and I have to make this lecture short because it's too much a long lecture. When reviewing the material, the student can cover the note-taking right column while answering the question or keywords. In the keywords are Q left column. Okay, the student is encouraged to reflect on the material and review the notes regularly. So that's why corner notes are very important. They are very famous in the world. Corner note taking can give students an effectiveness in the organization of thoughts that have been taught and give a better review in recollecting all the information that they have learned. So that's why this method can improve students' studying and listening skill. Also, it can improve students' writing skill. So that's why today I should I had a long lecture. I think it is necessary to give you all details. I discuss many things like what is choral, what is note making, what are the advantages of note making, what is the format, different formats I discussed, and the style of the notes, process of the notes, procedure of the notes. There's different methods of note making. One of them is corner note. Then in detail, I discuss the corner notes. So that's all. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. And it's very good when you need something for your exam. Please send me like these emails or YouTube messages on Applied Linguistics group on the Facebook or the Twitter. I will see when I have time, I can create the note that not only use for my students who are learning in my university where I've been teaching abroad. Also, this is also very simple because when I was given a first lecture for introduction in my university where I'm doing my postdoctorate fellowship on language variations abroad. So the students were asking me for assignments, how to make good assignment. And then I replied them that for a good assignment, you must attend the lectures or reading and you must make good notes. Then you can make a good assignment. Then you can write a good assignment. And the same is in my university where I'm teaching now. The students are asking, and I ask them, I have research writing students. I'm involved in research. So that's why I ask them, notes are very important. Note making is very important. I suggest them for corner notes because they are the famous one. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Okay. And hopefully uh, remember me in your prayers. And thank you very much. Bye bye. Bye bye.